Hi, my name is Daniel, and this is the Engineering Success Podcast, episode 78. I am so excited for this interview. This is an interview episode where I get to interview Sairan Aqrawi. Now, before we get into that, I have to do a big shout out to my top tier supporters. Thank you so much to John Ott and Labor Jenkins for your support of the podcast. $10 a month gets you the title of top tier supporter. I get you push you on my website, and I shout you out at the beginning of every single episode of the podcast. Thank you so much for considering. That money helps me pay for my email address, keep my website active, and that's pretty much what it covers. But it's very appreciated and very needed. So thank you both for your continued support of the podcast. Now, before we get into that, quick life update. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. Today is Sunday, November 16th. And Charlotte, North Carolina is in the news today. So, yeah, that's what's going on here in Charlotte. It's been in the news a lot, I guess, and I guess the political news a lot recently. I'm not going to really comment on the political situation, but Charlotte's a great place to live. It's a great city. I've enjoyed living here. And it's been pretty pleasant the entire time I've been here. That's all I'll say. But yeah, okay, cool. Well, let's get into the interview of the podcast. Now, this is I'm really excited about this interview. Sairan Aqrawi began her engineering journey at the University of Mosul in Iraq, where she studied civil engineering. After starting her civil engineering career in Iraq, Sairan was evacuated Guam as part of Operation Pacific Haven, from where she was eventually granted political asylum and began her life in the United States. Sairan has since extended her engineering career here in the United States, culminating now to her role as design coordinator team lead for the Transit Authority in the city where she works and lives. In addition to her engineering career, she has leveraged her experience to mentor professionals in all stages of career transition, from engineer to not engineer, from young person to old person, from immigrating to the United States to U.S. native. Sairan has just a massive resume of helping mentor people through these transitions, and is also a very accomplished speaker as a professional speaker as well. I'm so excited for her to join. Sairan, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast. How are you today?
It's been quite busy between work and taking care of the kids and
Yeah.
yeah, cleaning and cooking, just the normal life that we all have. Yeah.
That's awesome. Have you had a busy? Is this a busy season for you in the fall for work, or is it kind of a slower season?
It's slower, but for my business, I kind of like pick up what I have done for the first half of the year and
Yeah.
kind of like reflect about what I have done and what I'm supposed to eliminate, not to repeat for the next year. So it's a time for reflect and recalculate your plan for next year.
Yeah. Oh, that's a wonderful way to end the year. I do a similar outlook in my life as well. So that's fun to find those parallels. Well, we're here to talk about engineering careers. I kind of previewed a little bit. So you studied civil engineering. At what point in your life did you realize that you wanted to study engineering and become a civil engineer?
It's funny because I didn't choose it. My dad chose this
No.
this study for me. People come across and say, "Oh, I love engineering. I always want to be an engineer." But the truth is that was not my case. When I was in high school, I always dreamed to be a doctor. And thanks God, I haven't been one because I would have not been a good doctor because I cannot see people suffering or I can see anyone who's bleeding or having pain. So my father made the right choice for me by saying, no, you don't want to be a doctor like your sister. I see you as an engineer. And he kind of like convinced me to join the University of Mosul and study civil engineering. I didn't like his choice the first and second year because I thought that's the worst things happen in my life. I
Oh.
don't like, I mean, although I loved math, I love science, I was very good in math, but I never want to be an engineer and being in construction, right? And back in the days, I graduated many years ago in Middle East, especially civil engineering and construction. It was like mainly about male going there. So the class was almost 32, 35 students. I was one of out of we were only two girls. The rest were
Wow.
guys, right? So now it's changing, of course. Engineering now more appealing to female. Even here in Middle East, a lot of women chose to be in construction and civil engineering. So to answer your question, no, I did not chose to be an engineer, but I'm very glad I did. And it was something that I fell in love later on, because when I was very young, I done every single aspect of civil engineering you can imagine: survey, construction, doing estimate, a budget, a report, inspection, design. And even when I came to United States, I knew that I need to pursue more degree in engineering. This is why I went back to school and I gained my master degree.
That's awesome. So it's one of those things that was impressed upon you, but eventually it grew on to you. Were you it sounds like you had that unique experience of kind of being the vast minority in your engineering school. What was that like, being one of few women in engineering school? Was it difficult?
It was hard in the beginning, but what I enjoy the most is I'm very organized, like even in school or at home. When I start a project, either if I don't start it at all, or if I start it, I will do such a great job in organizing it. So what is make me feel good in engineering school, although it was not my choice, it was the guys who's sitting beside me asking about my notes. Back then, we didn't have a laptop to take notes. It was the instructor, giving us the class. So I was using like different color of pen. So I was highlighting using the black pen, then the blue pen. And I see the guys looking at my notes, and those paper were going around all the students because my handwriting was very nice, and also I was using
Nice.
a highlighter. So I think that satisfied my ego a little bit. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm not the smartest in the class, but I'm very happy everyone loved my handwriting. And by the time the notes come back to me, it was all like this because they were like handed to each others. So back then, again, we did not use calculator.
Yeah.
Anytime you go to the exam, and then 1991, if they see in the exam you have the calculator, even if it's like off, you get dismissed and you get zero on the exam.
Oh wow.
So it was everything like solving equation uh, by hand. You have to use your mind and you have to memorize a lot of things on the theory and stuff. And it's funny because when I came to United States and went back and I started my master, first I started in George Mason and I done 5 classes. We had those classes going to the lab to design like the traffic, design and the road. So I was like very slow. I was like the turtle of the group, and I see this young guy sitting beside me, looking at me like with a question mark, like he thought like I am from different island or something, because I was calculating everything. And he looked at me, he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm calculating the intersection so I can build the traffic." He said, "Are you serious?" I said, "Why?" He said, "This is a software. All you need just to put the number and click enter. The design is happening in 10 minutes." I said, "This is a joke, right?" He said, "No, this is a software. You're sitting and you're starting from scratch." So I felt like dumb that day because I thought like everything should be like a product of your hand, calculating and using your innovative idea and stuff. So the engineering been changing a lot, and I still, uh, when I mentor younger engineer at George Washington or at Women in Technology, I said, don't use that still the skill by you. Don't lose the ability to use your brain. Don't
Yeah.
depend everything on the calculator or the AI. There is nothing wrong with using ChatGPT or using something else to expedite your work,
Mhm.
but yet still think about use your brain about innovating idea. If you have a project at work, don't just jump to the shortcut and the quickest way doing it, because sometimes you come across, and Dan, you know that you are an engineer yourself in a big company, like people will come to you when you do things differently. You are not copy pasting your boss. You are not copy pasting the team lead. You are not copy pasting the way how it's being done. And people will admire when you solve the issue in a different way. And that's what
Mhm.
is called innovation. Because and that innovation will not come through ChatGPT or through the calculator. Innovation comes from you looking for new ideas.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think I could just take a copy paste that snip, and I just want to send it to every single engineering student right now and say, hey, like, hey, Yeah, you can use these tools, but every shortcut that you take in that Chat GPT stuff, if you don't spend the time to actually learn it, then you're just hurting yourself in the future.
Yes.
So it sounds like you're a really good student, and maybe you said you weren't the necessarily the brightest student, is what you said, but it sounds like you were a
No,
really good student. It sounds
no,
like you're a
I
good.
was not. Yeah, I was not the brightest. I was not the best of the best, right? But I was very organized in a way. Uh, if I was planning to go to the library and study that day, I would arrange my calendar in a certain way so I can have time to still having fun with the girlfriend I have in the dorm and also going to the library and study. And in another sense, I was not all over the place. I was very organized, and I'm still now very organized. Even in my mid 50, I could not raise two kids, two in college, while their dad always overseas and running a house and cleaning and cooking and going to work and going back to school if I'm not organized.
Yeah.
So engineer, we are good in numbers and everything is like a strategic, like we take people from A to B and everything should line up, just like a train track, right? You cannot just put everything together and use big word which you cannot even find in dictionary just to look smart. We engineer, we always have to remember that you are always smart if you stay with the basic, and basic is our simple core principles. You don't have to use metaphor and terminology that people never, or like abbreviation about stuff in the meeting, so people say, oh, look at him, look at her, she's very smart. That does not make you look smart. As a matter of fact, we always say in engineering world, you are a very good engineer if you explain your equation to a high school student,
Yeah.
because that high school student is not an engineer yet. He might be an engineer in 4 years and 3 years, but you consider to be a very bright engineer if you have the ability to explain that equation to a high schooler. You just stay with the basic and stay with the core, and later on when you become advanced and you get better job and the leadership, you can use those big words just to satisfy your ego then. Yeah.
Oh, amen to that. Yeah, I think that's one of my mentors early in my career, because I had a lot of, I still have some, but when I was younger, probably more ego around how smart I was, and
Yeah.
being smarter than everybody else. That's I there's a point in my life where I placed a lot of value in that, and he
Yes.
said to me, if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it,
Yes.
and that
Come
kind
on.
of, yeah, that kind of changed my perspective on that.
Totally. 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 And when we are younger, especially with engineer, we have this idea, or we have this statement in our head saying we have to be right all the time. If I go to this meeting, I have to prove to everyone in the meeting I'm the smartest. My statement and the which I use at the meeting, or I reject that plan, or I design certain way, or my number is always the highest. When we are younger, it's okay because we are still navigating, we're still discovering, what we are best at, right? But when you get to a certain point, when you get to my age, and after 50, you will be very, you will speak less even in meeting. You are not obligated to prove to the universe that you are good what you are doing. But when you are young, it's okay. You're building your resume, you're changing your job, you're taking different role in engineering. But when you get to a certain point and you know your value and your worth, you're not gonna try so hard desperately to prove to the audience that you are a good engineer.
Great point. Great point. So let's talk a little bit about how your journey to becoming the professional that you are now. In the intro, I talked about how you were involved in Operation Pacific Haven. You immigrated to the U.S. and then you went through the interview process and were granted asylum in the U.S. What was I know that you had an engineering career before that, but now you're, uh, I believe, a kind of without any choice in the matter. You're now in a new country. I assume that your engineering degree is not necessarily licensed in the United States. What kind of options did you have at that point to kind of make that transition into starting a career here in the States?
Yes, when I came, I was in my 20, and the only degree I have it was bachelor in civil engineering, and I know that will not take me far because I know the way how they do engineering here is totally different. And not necessarily my bachelor didn't have a value. It did, because I was still, I took all the classes which is required in civil engineering in the United States as well. But I had to cope and I have to blend in with the system here in a way. The only way I knew I have to do it to go back to school and earn a higher, degree like a master or PhD degree. So the beginning was very not just scary. I was confused. I was totally confused. I was in my 20 and I didn't know better, right? I came to this country thinking, oh, everyone will celebrate and welcome you. Oh, she's smart, he's smart, here is a job. Of course, that was not a reality, because the very first job when I came to the United States, I was working at tax administration. I mean, tax. I mean, we were collecting tax from the leasing company for car. I mean, I done that for almost a year. Yes, did not have anything to do with engineering, but that was like the stepping stone for me just to take that one job so I can go to something better. So to answer your question, if you come from different country, it's not rosy, and there is no red carpet laying down for you. You have to really find out your way, and you're gonna fail a lot. I can have a series and books about how many times I fail in jobs, how many times I change my thought and my approach towards something. But those failing will set the goal higher for you, and you're gonna become a better version of yourself by knowing not to do again the things that does not align with your soul and brain. And I'll give you an example. Being an engineer, you have all kind of engineering aspects. There's some engineer, they love to be on computer. Great,
Mhm.
leave them there. They're gonna shine there, right? They love to be on the computer, on AutoCAD, designing things. Do not take that guy or that female and throw them on the field. They're not gonna enjoy it. They meant to be on the computer designing AutoCAD. You have to know what you're really good at in order to thrive and excel it for later on. So as a team lead, and you know that you're an engineer yourself, you will have people on the same team. Someone as an engineer, he love or she love research. Great, let them do research. Some of them they are very extrovert. They love to talk to the stakeholders and with client. Let them run the meeting. They love running the meeting. They're going to be the best facilitator to run those meetings for you. Some they like to lead. Give them training how to lead and give them all the new grad student and have him or have her be a team lead for that group of younger students or younger engineers. So it depends what you love. And in the beginning, when you are an engineer, you don't have that clear image about your hidden gem about technology. You're trying everything. You go to the field, hands on, you are in the factory, you do the research, you run the meeting. Then while you go after 10, 15 years, you'll find out, oh, that's the one thing that I really enjoy to do. Maybe I should just design bridges. That's the thing that I really enjoy. Don't take me to the field. I'm just going to design the bridge for you. I know a lot of guys who are extremely talented as a construction manager. They love to be a construction manager and they have the highest degree. They just don't want to have the suit in the office and run a meeting. They said, leave me on the field. And nothing wrong with that. He shine as a construction manager. So it depends. You just need to find what you really like to do and continue doing it. And this is how you're gonna shine.
Yeah. And I know now you're a design team lead, but obviously you didn't graduate from your master's program and then become a design team lead right away. So let's talk about your journey from your master's to your role now. What was that how, what was that progression of roles like for you? And
Yeah.
did you have any career job change or employer changes along the way?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I had job from the county, private sector. I remember when I was in my early 30, I used to be the one who's designing infiltration trench and rain garden and designing, commercial building, residential. I enjoy that because I was dealing with again with equation and I'm very good in math. I enjoy that part. Then I got another job with LP Communication. We were building a towers in the Mexican border. That was the one job that I really loved dearly, so close to my heart because it's made me who I am today. Because it was very challenging. We were doing very scary stuff. We were surveying in a places that you have to be accompanied with the CBP. People were actually protecting us with the machine gun so we can do the survey on those border. And I learned a lot because the client were Homeland Security and Boeing, and I learned a lot from the client and also from the managers who I had back then. Then after that, I took a break. Then another private sector for a short time. Then I joined the transit. Altogether, I'm happy that I did not only stuck with construction. I was not only saying, oh, since I'm a civil, then I should just do construction. Because even when I did my master, I changed my master from transportation to system integration. And I done like one half master in George Mason, and I was seeing that I'm getting perfect score. I was like, I know I'm not genius. Why I'm getting 99 and 98? So when I spoke with the advisor, and he said, which kind of complaint is this? I never seen a student coming saying, why I'm getting 98. I said, well, because I know I'm not genius. Why I'm getting like a perfect score? He said, maybe because of your bachelor is in transportation and your master now in transportation, there is no challenging. So it's kind of you're doing the same thing. So I end up leaving that program and start over again, system integration with George Washington University. And this is how I know I'm learning because my grade were like 85 and 84. So it's like a B and B minus, B plus. I was like, it looked like I'm being challenged, right? So I'm learning something new and I'm really exercising my brain to know something different. But I still remember the very first class at my master at GW. I I, I think my face was like a complete question mark because at the break, the professor he said, "Excuse me," I was sitting at the front. He said, "Why you look like scared? Why are you looking at me, not blinking?" I said, "Well, because I feel like you're speaking a different language, like a French or Italian." He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "I have no idea. What are you talking about?" He said, "What do you mean? Why you are here?" I said, "I'm here in the program. This is my first class." He said, "Oh no, you came from construction. This is merely system integration." I was like, "Oh my God, all my money's gone." But I'm happy I didn't get it the first time because what I did, I challenged my brain to learn something and new skills. And this is how you stretch your mind and you evolve and you grow. Because if you keep, continue doing the same thing that you have done for the past 15 years, your brain still, you're going to be stagnant. You're not going to grow to a better version. And this is why they said, like, one of the best things to not have dementia right now to learn a new languages because those alphabetic in your brain kind of is an exercise in your brain because you're using a different alphabetic. So the dementia will go away. Same thing with engineering. Try not to do the same thing all the time and say, I've been doing this for 30 years. Try to challenge your brain. Try to exercise it more. Again, I'm going to use the word again. Be innovative. Try to find different way to solve a problem. And this is how people will remember you in every job.
Awesome. Well, so how do you apply that in your day to day in your current role?
I feel like, and this is not only me, and I knew this after many years thinking I'm an engineer, then that's all I need. That's not true. I knew while I'm in my other career that engineers, we need a lot of other skills. The most important one is the communication, right? So now when you have other team member on staff meeting or working with you at your current job, you need to listen more. You cannot always come with your assumption or your idea or saying in the meeting, no, it should be my way because I have been doing it for 30 years this way. Well, who told you the way how you did it for 30 years was correct? Maybe you never listened. This is why you've been doing it wrong all the way, right? So when you get like more mature or more advanced in your career, you need to listen more to your team member because like now I listen to my kids that are 21 and 23. I should not judge them telling them, oh, you are young, you know nothing about life. Yes, they might not know as much as me as I'm being their mother, but they have a different perspective. They are outside the box. They look at the issue differently. So when you go to work, don't undermine younger engineer. Don't go there because you have done it for 35 years thinking the guy who just graduated last June, he's not a good engineer. You're already making assumption without even having a data in front of you. You might be brilliant and bringing all those great ideas to your team. So I feel engineers, we need to work in other soft skills, communication, active listening, uh, having empathy at work, right? We are all human beings. Don't make a decision only using your brain. Try to have your brain and heart working with each others. Don't be soft totally 100% and don't be harsh 100%. Try to make that balance between your brain and heart when you make any decision. And just enjoy. Try to enjoy what you're doing. Because if you're not going to enjoy, your job will be a punishment.
Yeah, that is so true. So about your job, so what is a design team lead? What does a design team lead do?
So it depends on the project which you are. Normally, the design team lead it have group of consultants who are trying to take the project from A to B. So when I was at Dallas project, where we extending we add more addition station to take uh, the silver line to the airport. So the team all work together. When they put you as a design team lead, that's mean you know those software which we use at the project better than anyone else. And that's not because I'm the smartest, because I'm the most senior. So the people who work in my team are the one who came from consultant, firm. And when they come to the team, you teach them how to use those software. And I have to admit to you, when I came to the project, and when the director told me there's certain software called such and such, I thought he's talking about kind of salads because I never hear about those software. I was like, what is he talking about? He's like, what's wrong? I said, I don't know how to use those software. He said, well, I'm sorry to deliver the news to you. Not only you have to learn it, you have to teach it to the subject matter expert. I said, what do you mean? He said, you have to be expert at it because you're going to teach it. And that will take me to another component I would love to talk about is the teaching and the learning part of engineering. I feel that since I was a teenage, going back even when I was in college, when I told you the guys were sharing my notes and I was very happy about it, I have that passion about teaching. I love to teach a younger engineer to 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 obtain a skill and be a better version of themselves. That teaching component make me very satisfied. And I see when I see them coming back saying, "Oh my God, we always got scared to use that certain software, but after you teaching us how to use it, now our job is much easier." So the teaching also something I feel every engineer, I'm not saying you should master it, but you have to have that willingness to teach younger generation. You can't just keep all that knowledge for you saying, oh, I know those software. I don't care others. They can take some, test. They can take those training outside. I'm not obligated to teach them. Well, that's not a good attitude at work. If you know a software, if you know a certain way to solve the project, you have to have that ability also to teach that software to other engineers, and that's how you make the whole team talk with each other and work well with each others.
That makes sense. Well, thank you for sharing, and that's cool that you guys. So you're the transit authority had a software that they wanted all the consultants to use, and your responsibility was to make sure that everybody knew how to use it. So whenever you work for a transit authority or work for a municipality or a DOT, are most of your projects being done by consultants? What's the relationship of the in-house staff on a project that you work on to other people that are helping you pull projects together?
No, not all a consultant. Sometimes we use them to accomplish a certain phase of the project, like
Mhm.
the construction management. They will be like the inspector on the field, but we still have a lot of authority, employee who's doing they perform their duties. But you learn also from the consultant because they come from different sets of training. So their vision towards the project is different than when you are inside the agency. Like, and you know this, you are an engineer yourself. Sometimes you have another, we call it another sets of eyes, right? When you have a third party, inspection, and they come and look at the project, they look at some stuff you never seen it, and that project's always it was always in front of you. But because there's another sets of eyes, when they come and look at it, they find their finding is different than yours. So yeah, it depends on the project. And now I'm in a transition. I'm in a configuration management. So kind of like we are documenting all the silver line. We're trying to document all other project. And in general, I feel like again, engineering it's been evolving a lot lately because of the AI, right? And we engineer, we kind of like, oh my God, the AI and everything is going to be automated, and I'm going to lose my job. In reality, the people who's going to lose their job are only the group who are scared to learn AI. They are not the people who are working like you and me. And I'm not suggesting that because I'm not one of them. I'm not expert in AI, but I encourage everyone to cope with the change because it's already here. You might be an engineer for 35 years or 40 years and you're doing great, but don't brush off the AI. Don't vanish or cancel the AI totally from from your daily activity, because you need to utilize it and make that AI work for you as an assistant. But don't make it like a scary things like I'm not gonna learn it, I'm not gonna touch it. Well, it's already here and it's like a fast train passing you. So the more you avoid it, the more it's going to come back in an ugly way. So it's better to learn it a little bit, cope with the change, and just be part of the group learning a new skills, which is AI now. There is no way back.
Yeah, yeah, there is definitely no way back, and I know in my work, um, we've been we've been slower to kind of roll out our official company tools for it, but we're finally getting them. They've gone through the due diligence and they've done their analysis and they feel comfortable now. So we're starting to use them. And it sounds like I'm in the private sector and I believe you'd classify as a public sector employee. And it sounds like we're both using it. Um, Now, I believe L3 is considered private sector, and then the authority is public sector. A lot of people are in one or the other, and they want to know if the grass is greener on the other side. What's your experience on public sector versus private sector? Do you have a preference? Is one better than the other?
Good question. And I don't know if I prefer either one of them because I had a flavor for both. So I work for the county, for private, big company, small company, and now I'm with the transit. So some people they think if you are getting a federal job, government job, you are more secure. You towards your retirement, you can enjoy the insurance and the security of it. You're not going to lose your job. You invest 25 years in your current job, which is for some people is okay. And private sector, you have that excitement. They send you for training. You have to gain new skills because you are always have to be on the top. You have to perform well to bring money to your company. So I feel you need both. In my case, I never act or perform at my job different way when I was in private and now I'm in public, like more secure, right? Because why I should even perform differently? I'm the same engineer. Your skills, your background, the way how you solve project, it should be the same attitude. You should not perform higher in private or lower in public sector just because it's secure, right? So the way how I work in the big company or the small company is the same approach that I did in my current job, and maybe the outcome a little bit different because when you are with the government, you are funded differently, as you know, and when you are in private sector, you have to gain contract and you have to gain project from the big shot or from the government in order to perform next project, and they have to bid on something else. I experience both, and to answer your question, I don't have preference. Like I see them the same. Like the challenge is the same, the outcome is the same. The most important things, and this is for younger engineers, if you're going to work in both, just do your best. Don't say, oh, I'm private, I did so much, I put so much hours, and my phone was ringing at 10 o'clock. Yes, maybe your phone will not ring at 10 o'clock if you are with the government, but try to do your best the same way. Don't do less because you are with the government now and you have a steady paycheck. You just have to perform the same, you have to give the same quality of work. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I think that's a good message to carry on in everything that we do, and I think it's probably also one that you carry along in when you're helping coach people. We've talked a lot about your career. Can you tell us more about your coaching business and what you do, what people you work with, and what you're helping them achieve?
When I finished my master, I started my doctoral, but I never finished my doctoral because I fell in love with mentoring and coaching, the younger student at my school. After that, I changed my niche from transition expert, and now I am running a private, consulting firm, helping women to monetize their hidden talent or hidden gem. As much as I say midlife woman, I still get clients who are male. And when I ask them why you choosing me, they said because they pick up my name from the ICF directory because I'm a certified coach with the International Coaching Federation. So they hire me for their session for to certify them for the 10 hours mentoring session. So midlife is for both. It's men and women. Yeah, there is no man saying my 50 is better than 30. It's not better or worse. It's just different. When you hit that 50, Danielle, it's a different set of belief. It's come to you. You're gonna enjoy life in a different scale. You're gonna appreciate your time in different scale. You're gonna choose your friend, the company, the time that you spend with others a different way. When you are in your 20 and 30, you're kind of still discovering. You're trying to navigating life and survive. You want to pay the bills, raise your children, take care of your elderly parents or your in-laws. When you hit that 50, it's totally different stage. Now it's all about you, right? Why it's about you is not being selfish. No, you've done your job as a husband or a brother or sister or partner and as a worker. But when you hit that 50, you're gonna ask yourself this question. Now what? Is that all what I need to do? I'm an engineer, pick up my paycheck and life is good and the bills, paid and the kids are A student. I don't think so because after 50 this is your prime time. This is the time that you really want to focus on what's coming ahead of you. You should start picking up what is really aligned and leaving impact for others, where it's aligned with your soul and brain. You should not continue doing something that never add joy to your life. And I'm not suggesting my client, I always tell them, I'm not suggesting you to quit your job. I want you to keep your job. If you love your job, great. But if you have a side passion, passion is not enough. That passion has to become a skills and monetize. And if you have that passion and the skills and you don't want to monetize it, it's still okay. At least celebrate it. Bring that hidden gem to the surface, celebrate it, appreciate it, love it, and don't brush it off. Don't make it hidden and make it sleep again like you did when you did in your 20 and 30. Now is your time, and 50 is the time to celebrate those hidden gems.
Yeah. What do you think about the phrase that we hear all the time, midlife crisis? What do you the people coming to you, are they having a midlife, are they having a crisis, or what's going on whenever you're talking to these people that are midlife?
So it's funny you ask this question because one of the podcasts, they were beautiful. I love those two ladies. They were very interesting, and they said our podcast called Midlife Crisis. I said, then I'm not coming. They said, why? We love you. I said, I love you, ladies too, but I don't like the title. They said, well, that is the name of the podcast. Well, the connotation is negative. I mean, we call it crisis. We did not even enter it yet. I remember that I hear that crisis term when I was 30 and 40. Oh, when you hit that 50, it's a midlife crisis for men and women. Well, to me, it's not a crisis. At least I don't see it this way in a term. I see it priceless. It's a stage. It's priceless. It's like you having a trophy in your hand, because when you hit that 50, you didn't come to this stage just like that, like overnight. You came with a lot of experience, lesson learned. So it's not crisis. It's not a sudden thing. When you are 30, you knew for sure you're going to head to your 40. And when you are 40, you know you're going to hit that 50. So where does the crisis come from? Those label and negative connotation, it does not serve us by any chance, right? Same thing that they're telling you, oh, when you are a parent and your kids get older, you become an empty nester. What does empty nester mean? I don't even know what it mean. I mean, why you empty it already? I mean, if your kids really get along with you, they still got to come back for Thanksgiving and Christmas, first of all. Second, you did not bring them to this world so they can glue to you. They have their own life. They're going to find their partner and start their own life. So it's not an empty nester. You fill it with traveling with your partner, reading book, start a side business, do something that you really enjoy. Why are you calling it empty? Those negative connotations, especially women, I don't know why we enjoy using them. Like we are not even 50 and we call ourselves old.
Yeah.
I have a client coming to the introduction, 15 minutes or 20 minutes, and I said, what are you up to? They said, oh, I booked this call with you because I feel old. And when I asked her, how old are you? She said 48. I said 48. Okay, 48 is old. Then what is 88? I mean, you already call yourself old. The universe did not even told you you are old. You're already calling yourself old. And why you feel old? Oh, because my baby was in the kindergarten and I see them in middle school, so I'm old. Things does not should not be translated this way. You are only old when you stop dreaming. You are only old when you stop innovating. You are only old when you think that you cannot have any more impact, when there is no sense of belonging, when you do a boring job. You go to work, you pick up your paycheck, you come home, you have dinner, you sleep, and that's old. That's considered old to me. Even if you are 32, I'm sorry to deliver the news to you. If you are 32 and you live this way, well, guess what? You are 92. You are really old because your life is such a routine. You pick up a paycheck, you do two vacation, you take a couple of pictures, you have a nice dinner. Do you call that a life? That's not a life. That's such a boring old life, right? So, and you see people in their 60, they are at their peak. I know people, they become the best author in their 60. I have some friend, they are pushing 70 and they are opening their second business
Wow.
while still working. Those are not old. I am old because I'm scared just looking at them, right? So those terms doesn't serve us. We have to know what's really um, bring us joy. What is really something that when you do so well, you lose the sense of timing. Like if you are an artist and you draw, and I'll come and I say, you've been in that room drawing for the past 5 hours. You said, what? It seems like 5 minutes. I said, no, you've been in that room painting for 5 hours. You know why you didn't have sense of timing? Because you are really immersing and swimming in your art. You really enjoy what you're doing. So that's what's your hidden gem. You don't feel the time, you don't feel the effort. And people compliment you about it. And you keep saying, no, it's nothing. I just, I'm painting. It's not a big deal. Well, it's a big deal. That's a gift that you need to bring to the service and celebrate it.
Yeah. So how did these gifts even come up? Like how do you find out what somebody's gem is in these conversations?
Oh, no. Now you're making me look like I'm a magician. I'm not a magician.
Come on,
I
yeah,
don't
make them.
I don't have the magic wine or whatever. So I will not be coming to your session claiming that I have the secret sauce. If you don't have any hidden gem, I'm gonna find it in 90 days. There is no such things. If any coach or any consultant telling you they're gonna make you the best version in a coaching, if you buy their coaching for 90 days or 3 months, they are not telling the truth because the job should be done by you. This is an inner job. I'm just a guidance, right? I'm someone who's holding the flashlight and showing you a little bit dark on the way. I'm just gonna helping you, being your company or being accountability partner with you. But the finding of those hidden gems is your job. It's not my job. You coming for guidance. I've been through it. I can tell you what are the clues. So the one clues that I can tell my clients always, I always tell them start with this. What is that one thing you've been doing for a long time and people compliment you about it? What is that one thing that do it so well that others struggle with? So, for example, you might be a lawyer, right? You are in a law firm and you're doing a good job and you're making money. But every time you visit your brother and sister or your friend, you have this idea about their internal design of their living room or the guest room, and you're going to move their furniture in a way it it make the room look so much different. So you are a lawyer at your day job, but you have that hidden talent as an internal design that you never tap on. You never thought it's even mean anything. You didn't even give it a value. So you tell me while I'm asking you a question, what have you been up to in teenage and the 20, and you tell me, oh, I was in sport, then I stopped, or I was writing, then I stopped, or I love speaking, then I stopped, or I was doing things by hand, then I stopped because I went to engineering school. So those hidden talent, it's with you. They are with you all along. You just need to bring them back again to a life. It's like a rebirth,
Yeah,
like a rebirth. You bring them back to the service and you celebrate them.
that's awesome. Now, a lot of my audience is people that are, maybe late teens, mid 20s, early 30s. Um, what would you say that you hear as like a common through line from people that are in their midlife that you're talking to now that they wish they had approached differently whenever they were a young person?
99% of them, they always tell me they wish if they start their side business earlier.
Wow.
Yes. Don't wait so long. Start before you are ready. Don't wait that everything line up perfectly. Especially I see it in engineering mindset because we deal a lot with numbers. We always think business is the same. Everything should line up. Everything should be precise and concise. Well, business is not like that. Business is up and down. You make money 6 months, you don't make any money for 9 months. So what they regret, my client, when they are in their 40 or 50, they said they wish if they start that hidden talent as a side business when they were 35 or they were 29 or they were 32. Because when you are younger, you can handle those failing is much better. There is no ego involved yet, right? But when you get to your 50, you live in your head. It's like, I'm not making any mistake. I make a lot of money. Business should be making money in 6 months. There is no such things. Nothing will bring money in 3 or 6 months. You have to work, 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 struggle, struggle, struggle until you hit something. It's never a straight line, right? But in engineering, when you do the test, you engineer yourself. They give you 5 questions. They give you one question with 5 answers. Only one answer is correct. Well, in business, it's kind of like the whole answers are correct in percentage because business is up and down. It's roller coaster, right? So you're not going to be like, oh, it's a plain black and white. I'm going to do it this way and it's done. So I hear it from those clients when they are getting close to their 50, they wish that they start earlier. So my message to your audience who are younger, late 20, early 30, start what you love. Keep your job. If you are an engineer, great, continue doing it. I will never ask you to quit engineering. But if you love to write, your book will not make million the first time. But if your fifth book make million, you're gonna quit even not coming back and telling me. You're gonna quit yourself, right? But start before you are ready. Start early, and as you go, just jump. As you go, you learn, and you figure things out as you go. So that's my message to them.
Well, I couldn't think of a better way to summarize and kind of put a bow on the conversation here. So I'm not going to even try. But what I want to do is I do want to give people information on how to connect with you if they are midlife, or maybe you'd
Yeah,
be willing to accept somebody that's not
yeah,
necessarily midlife.
yeah. Of course, yeah, of course. So I give this away for the podcast host as like a complimentary to their audience. If anyone mention your name or your podcast, it doesn't matter their age. They can be 22 or 23, just came out of any school, not even engineering. I'll give them away 15 minutes complimentary to make their LinkedIn more appealing, right? Their LinkedIn page, they might just started, they are out of school and they need a little bit tweak on it. to give them that authority sense or that appealing way that they can apply for better jobs. So LinkedIn is, let's say, the professional, platform from them. And also I'll give them 15 minutes complimentary on their Instagram. So let's say if they are doing finance, but they love to do something in their hand, I will help them in a complimentary 15 minutes to open a page on Instagram and how they can pitch their idea on Instagram. So I give that away for your audience, for anyone. It doesn't matter the age. Again, I mean, aging is just a number. I see myself now, I'm in my mid 50. I feel much better when I was in my 30 and 40. I'm more control on my life. I have more joy in what I'm doing. So aging is just a number. Don't be scared of it. It's the best things happen to you.
That's awesome. And how can people reach you? What's your contact information?
Yeah, they can send me a message through LinkedIn, or they can just reach out to me. I have a website, sairanaqrawi.com, or they can reach me through Instagram as well. It's just my first name and last name.
Awesome. Perfect. Well, I am going to use some magic of editing to put that on the screen below you as you say that so people can reach you. And man, thank you so much for this conversation.
Yes.
I really enjoyed the time this afternoon, and I really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you so much. It was my honor, Danielle. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Engineering Success Podcast, the Engineering Careers Podcast. If you enjoyed the episode, please share it, like it, leave a comment down below. Wherever you're listening, subscribe on YouTube, subscribe, set up notification bells wherever you are. We're trying to release 2 episodes a month, so please listen along with that, and maybe we'll even up the frequency if my life gets a little less crazy. But again, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Engineering Success. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Miscommunicating. I just made a pilot, then they threw me on the stations. Nah, I'm not complaining. Nah, I'm not complaining. My thoughts get complicated. I cannot explain in lameness. Never losing focus because I ain't chasing payments. Still playing in the basement while I'm working on arrangements. They heard the kid in 50 countries. Thank God that's amazing. But I'd rather thank Spotify. They put me on the station.